We often hear now how frustrating it is for others to hear that there's so much wealth in such small populations. For example, this notion of per capita distribution. Oftentimes, folks can't get their mind around such a small population receiving such large monthly payments or quarterly payments from casino profits. And I find it very hypocritical that you have so many people so concerned about this newfound wealth that tribes find themselves in. It's no different than an inheritance. It's no different than someone, making a living and doing very well at that and earning their keep in that way. Our facilities are doing well, and we shouldn't apologize for the wealth that comes with that. The unfortunate part, and I think the big aspect of what is missing here, and the larger question that is looming over this issue is, why are there such small populations? There have been numerous articles, for example, in California, post 5 and post 1A, about the small reservations or about the reservation population of 1 or 2 members or 5 members, and how they're going to receive revenue sharing funds from the rest of the tribes in excess of $1 million. And is that fair? But why is no one asking the question of, wow, genocide? There is only one person left from this nation. There are only 5 people left from this nation. What happened to the rest? I think anyone interested in not repeating the atrocities of the past would be asking those types of questions. Any type of researcher or any person interested in history would ask some type of question as, what happened here? How did this come to be? As a Boy Scout is walking in the Angeles National Forest and he finds an arrowhead, he would say to himself, where did this come from? I'm sure this came from the Indians in the air. Who are they? What happened to them? Well, why don't reporters and politicians and individuals ask the same questions as, why is there only 1 tribal member left? Why are there only a half a dozen? Why are there only 40 tribal members left? What happened to the rest? What happened to dwindle this nation down to such a small population? And I think if we would answer those questions honestly, we would then know our history, and we would be destined then not to repeat that history. And, genocide has been something that American Indians have encountered for hundreds of years. And unfortunately, here in California, we seem to encounter it time and time again with the changing face of the governments that were in charge of this state. And by virtue of where we were located, and by virtue of the worth and value of our land and what was found underneath it, we face acts of genocide. Scalps of Indian women and children. There was a bounty paid for those scalps. There was a report commissioned by Senator Burton in 2002 that basically accounted for all the legislative policies that were committed against American Indians. And in that report, there was an actual statement of various policies of how California Indians were enslaved and what bounties were paid for the scalps of our men, women, and children. And this was paid for in order to get rid of the Indian, to preserve the land for the gold rush miners, and which is a very sad state of affairs, which definitely has an impact as to where Indian populations are today, especially here in California.